What's up, YouTube? Black at you with another one. Hit that like button. Subscribe for me. You know what I mean? Share the video. We still at it like a pill addict, okay? God bless the haters. You know what I mean? And motherfuck the enemy. How about that? Okay, they be talking about He-Man. Right? Let me give you a quick synopsis of the video. He-Man and the concept of white supremacy. So it say these figures and concepts all connect through the archetypes of mighty muscle-bound heroes, fantasy, pseudo-history. That's what I really want to touch on today. The pseudo-history of the dominant race, white supremacy, and the whole ideology. Also, mythical traditions polarized in pop culture, comic books, and action figures. The shared themes and connections. The flagship Mattel hero was originally styled after sword and sorcery tropes, heavily inspired by Conan the Barbarian. Created by some dude, defines a Hyborian age of fictional pseudo-history. Pseudo meaning fake, pseudo meaning lie. We're going to get into all this tonight. We got a good one. Pseudo-historical era of pre-history, full of lost civilizations and raw physical survival. Okay. Now let's get into the Hyborian, Paldean root races. Hyborian relates to Howard fictional Epcot. So hold on. So the Howard dude was the Conan the Barbarian guy. Okay, Robert E. Howard. Hyborian relates to Howard's fictional epics, whatever, and Hyboria, while root races stem from esoteric and occult pseudo-history like Theosophy. Dang it, man. Theosophy? Oh my God. Theosophy. Okay, whatever. Which I'm human, I think. Which mapped out past epics of humanity. Paldean relates regionally to modern gaming like Pokemon, but it's in mythical context, fits right beside the lost ancient continents like Lemuria and Atlantis, which are also root races. We're going to touch on that tonight. Let's get busy. Hercules and Thor. Okay, muscle-bound, blonde-haired, superhero, supreme being type motherfuckers. Classic mythical heavyweights of divine strength, Greek and Norse mythology, respectively, who represent the ultimate template of muscle-bound demigod, right? You feel like the white race is superior. Later inspired modern characters like Conan and He-Man. Okay, that's the opener. Now, one thing I want to touch on is, let me give you some images before we pop out. Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. Let's go back. Okay, now you see, you got all of them right here. Okay, you see, we got all of them right here. Let's do a slow scroll. Okay, cause you see, this is all the same archetype. Okay. All the same archetype. You see Arnold, big Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, give you a slow scroll of these guys. Okay, we're gonna get into all this. Okay, and you see, this information was already out there, but unless you Google it, they'll never connect the dots for you. Okay, now you see, you got the God of War. Okay, I was gonna get into that. Okay, I was gonna get into that, right? Okay, give me some more results. When He-Man ripped off Conan, okay, you got Kratos right there with He-Man. I'm gonna take in all the pictures, man. I'm gonna give you a couple more. Then we got to move on. Okay. See the Cyclops. Okay, you see He-Man with the bloody sword. Okay. They had him on Death Battle. Okay, I'm gonna speed it up for you. We ain't got all night, but we got a good fight. You know what I mean? Okay. Alright, then let's move on. Now, yes, He-Man's real name is Prince Adam of planet Eternia. Right? Now, this is what I'm saying about He-Man being like a biblical figure. This is trying to tie it into divinity, right? His name was Adam. Let's see if anything come up. Any connection? Okay, no, but yeah, his name was Adam, so that touch on that. Now let's talk about the root races. Okay, the concept of root races comes from the 19th century. The sophists, oh my God, Theosophy, Jesus Christ, I hate that word. Established by Helena Blavatsky, it describes 7 distinct stages of human spiritual and physical evolution on Earth rather than modern biological ethnic groups. Okay, so this is the pseudo shit we was talking about. Most humans on Reddit and within esoteric traditions note that each major root race correlates with specific areas, shifting continents, and the awakening of new human faculties like intellect and physical form. Now, what the fuck is she talking about? The first root race being the Pelorians, eternal godlike and formless beings that lived on the sacred, imperishable land. Okay. The next is the Hyborians, right? It's the first root race, is the Anglo-Saxon. Okay, semi-astral giants inhabiting northern Arctic paradise with a warm climate. Make it make sense. This is like behind the ice wall shit. Okay, there's a whole nother layer of this conspiracy. You got the Lemurians, the Atlanteans. Who do we got here? The Aryans. Okay, do you see the connection to white supremacy with this Nordic region, North Pole, Greenland, Poland, Iceland, Nordic mythology bullshit. The current stage of humanity focus on developing abstract and intellectual mind. That's why they feel like the Aryans are superior. And you got future races. Okay, it says Blavatsky used the term like Aryan in the 19th century philological shit and developmental I can't read tonight. Context to mean a stage of consciousness. Okay, take that for a second. However, as discussed by using Reddit, these mystical frameworks were later co-opted and distorted and weaponized by early 20th century racists and Nazi ideologies to promote pseudo-scientific supremacy. Come on, man, I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Read the fine print, okay? And you might find a dent. Hold up. Okay, read the fine print and you might find a dent. They say modern science rejects root race model entirely, explaining human diversity through modern anthropology, genetics, and evolution. But I want to reread that. Okay? This mystical framework was later co-opted, distorted, and weaponized by early 20th century racists and Nazi ideologies to promote pseudo-scientific supremacy. Okay, let me give you some images before we move on. Okay, the polar race, the Polarian, the polar race, right? This is like ice, the ice ape, right? The snowman, the ice cave ape, you know what I mean? Okay, you got the esoteric origins of race. Race. Okay. Y'all can check that video out. Scroll a little bit so y'all get some images. Look at He-Man right there. Look, that's He-Man and them right there. That's Thor and them right there. It's the same mother. Come on, man. There you go, right there. Okay. Make sure they got some bullshit right there. Okay, masters of the ancient wisdom, these 7 root races. Okay. Now let's move on. Blavatsky was in the occult. Okay, now the chick that came up with this root racist shit was whole cold-blooded occultist, right? Her writings interpreted Satan as a metaphorical bringer of spiritual freedom and cosmic wisdom. Okay, Promethean figure. Blavatsky compared Satan to Prometheus, viewing him as a cultural hero who fought dogmatic authority and offered intellectual enlightenment. The name Lucifer, she named the movement's early journal Lucifer to emphasize the literal Latin meaning of the word lightbringer rather than the Christian theological villain. Okay, let's see what else. The origin of the satanic myth. Blavatsky argues that Satan is not literal entity or personification of evil. Anyways, you say the Blavatsky, the Satanist, Luciferianism, and Theosophy, and its feminist roots. Okay. American Mystic. Let's see. We can find something. The Russian occultist. Okay, Helena Blavatsky was a Russian spiritualist. Author examples, tradition categorized as occult include spiritualism, Wicca, and Satanism. Okay, so I just want to show you that the core of this shit is satanic. I'm gonna give you a couple images on Blavatsky wild ass. You see her doing the Masonic point, the one-eye symbolism, the hand on chin, Masonic hand signal. You see her motherfucking logo, got the swastika, the motherfucking Star of David, the Ouroboros, right? Cold-blooded Illuminati satanic practitioner. Okay, let's move on. Now let's talk about these Palladians. Let's see. Okay, the Palladian root race is the first human evolution stage and root race described in the Theosophy by the Bride Blavatsky. What do they look like? Hold on, let's go back. Polarian. Okay. In spiritual and sci-fi context, Polarian usually refers to the star seeds being from North Star System Polaris, fictional alien species. Says their appearance varies by lore. Okay, let's get into on Earth. There are regular humans of any race or skin tone. In higher dimensions, native form, original form, right? They are described as having very pale, almost translucent skin. Okay, so you see where that part comes in. I'm sorry. What else they say? They got the eyes, inverted teardrop. And then see, it's talking about the gold and blue. Remember we did that piece on the gold and blue. Okay, go back and check that out. 67 feet tall, thin, slender body. Let's see if we got some images. Okay. Got the white chick. You got that little image right there. But let's scroll so we can get what they look like. Well, they showing them as green, but okay, there they go, right there. Right there on the right, the Palladian Nordic. Okay, so this is your blue eyes, blonde hair. Okay, this is kind of the origins of that. You see the dude got the blue eyes and the blonde hair. Let's see if we can find some more right quick. Okay, well you see right there the Nordics. Okay, maybe that's what they call them, the Nordics. But if you look right under it, you see Palladians. You see the pale right there in the name of it. Okay, we got pale right there in the name of it. So let's get to the Nordics. Okay, the Nordic aliens. Okay, now we get into it. Okay, you see the blue and yellow color code, the blue and yellow color signal. Okay. Okay, you see the CIA expert says 4 types of aliens recovered. Okay. Tall white aliens. Look at right there on the Reddit. Tall white aliens. Okay, I give you see the images. This is why I give y'all the images, because the images is going to make it make sense, right? You get a different understanding with the images. Okay. Nordic aliens, blue eyes, blonde hair, pale skin. Okay, let's move on. Nordic, aka tall white. Now let's get into the Hyberian. Okay, Hyberians generally refers to 2 distinct concepts: the mythical-based people of the far north, ancient Greece lore, or a fierce northern civilization from Robert E. Howard's fantasy writing Conan the Barbarian. Okay, location imagined by ancient Greeks as a utopian paradise beyond the north wind. Believed to live for 1,000 years in complete happiness, free of disease, hard toil, and old age. Now you know that's a goddamn lie. Cause them troglodytes was crawling on their bellies, eating with their hands. Okay, originally a northern barbarian tribe, the Hybori, that migrated south, conquered older lands, and founded the major civilized kingdoms of the west, such as Aquilonia, Numidia, and Hyboria. Traits traditionally described as tall, sturdy, tawny-haired, gray-eyed, that later mixed with varying later ethnicities. Let's get to the images, okay? The Hyborians, okay? Conan the Conqueror. Hold on, let's spell it right. Bang. There they go. Okay. There they go. The Hyborians. You see the Hyborian age, how they eating meat, coming out the cave. Okay, all looking like the same troglodyte. Okay. Now, mind you, I showed you, let me see. Let me see, which one is it? So it's not the Hyborians, them is like next, but the Palladians. How you spell those motherfuckers? Aquarium. Okay, I spelled it wrong. Let's see. See, the images, they're giving us like real people. So let me go back. I gotta show y'all that this is where this blonde hair, blue eyes shit comes from. So I showed you the root races, how they connect, but by the time they get to Nordic, come on, man, give me the aliens, man. See, you gotta know what to type in. Okay? When you type the right thing in, you get them blue eyes. See them piercing blue eyes, blonde hair. Okay, this is like Captain Marvel type shit. Okay, you understand what I'm saying now? No, this is like Captain Marvel. Okay. Let's see if they got anything to say about that before we moved on. Alright, then they're giving us folklore and bullshit. Okay. Now, when we talk about the Theosophical Society, notice they got the swastika in the top, right? She came up with the root races, so you know the Nazis took to this. Okay, the occult roots of Nazism. Let's see. Hold on. Some of them maybe just might get you in trouble. But the Nazi ideology, the Aryan was viewed as the supreme root race or master race. Notice He-Man was master of the universe. Herein walked, right? He-Man, responsible for all higher human culture. The Nazi falsely claimed the Germanic and Nordic peoples would appear as descendants of this ancient lineage using pseudoscientific theories to justify world dominations. Okay? The Aryan myth, the Nazis co-opted 19th century logistics concept of Aryan peoples, originally referred to Indo-Iranian, if you know your etymology, and twisted them into biological and racial category. Nordic supremacy, ideologies like Hans somebody claim the Nordic peoples characterized by tall, fair-skinned, blonde hair and blue eye sat at the top of the human hierarchy. Okay? You see that next one, I ain't even gonna read that. Okay? So, one thing about, right, it's all about the weapon. Okay? He-Man wields the magical power sword. Thor commands the enchanted hammer. Conan relies on pragmatic steel and battle axes, right? The power of Grayskull. Right, telling you Illuminati, the Gray Skull is the cave. You know, the troglodyte coming out the cave. So the point of this is that all these dudes is connected, right? All these dudes connected. I showed you that in the first slide, right? The battle axe, okay? Now, another person that fits this archetype is Kratos. God of War. You know, and that's why they got into the Nordic bullshit after they got out of the Greek, right? So, notice they put the pale skin on Kratos, right? They put the white ash on him, right? They got the Greek letter for What's that? Omega. Right? But notice it's all about the weapon. Right? It's all about the weapon. Okay? Now this is the destructive nature. This is why they right, this is all a part of the destructive nature. Okay? When discussing the destructive impact links to white population of Western society, historians, sociologists, and critics typically focus on large-scale historical systematic patterns including colonialism, imperialism, slavery, ecology degradation driven by industry expansion, America's self-destructive whites. Okay? What underlies dangerous notions of white supremacy, America's self-destruction, whiteness harms white people. So I'm just saying, this nature, right? Remember I did the video on the Arm and Hammer, right? The hammer and sickle, right? We got deep into that hammer and sickle white connection, okay? Let's get into some images. Okay, you might see something we gotta block out, but we know the atrocities of white people and their destructive nature, right? Now, what's an example of their destructive nature? Valhalla, right? What is Valhalla? Norse mythology, a majestic spear and shield roofed hall in Asgard, ruled over by the god Odin. This destination for half of the heroes who die honorably in combat, chosen and escorted by the Valkyries. Let's see. Daily combat. Every day these warriors dress in full armor, march out to a vast plain, and fiercely battle one another, slicing each other up into pieces as a form of sport and training. And notice this. Resurrecting. By nightfall, all warriors' wounds are miraculously healed, and the warriors rise completely restored to feast together. Okay? So, you know, even in the troglodytes' nature, right? Even in heaven, your heaven come with murder. Your heaven is daily murder. Okay, let me give you some images of Valhalla. Okay, this is barbarianism. Is like when you say somebody's a barbarian, you talk about their lack of refinement, their cruelty and savagery. So they one of their civilizations became the equivalent of just, you know, savagery and degradation. Okay? So what's funny about Valhalla, you see the name Allah in that. So let's see. Okay. You see the Arab influence. There's a Islamic connection to this. Okay. Now they won't say it, but it says, however, historical and thematic intersections link the two worlds. Okay. Now we know about in Islam, if you die honorably, you go to heaven with the virgins and all that. Right? The martyrs. Okay? Both systems feature a specialized, highly glorified afterlife reserved for those who die valiantly in combat. In Norse mythology, fallen soldiers go to Valhalla. In Islamic traditions, martyrs who die fighting in the way of God described as high and honored ranked in paradise. Okay. So why is Valhalla has the name Allah in it, right? This is still East African bullshit. Now let's touch on Red Sonja. Now Red Sonja was came out in 2025 recently, but there was an old movie. Sword and Sorcery action film. Let's see. Okay, that's the old Red Sonja. Let me just show you some images. So she was with Conan, but notice she had the red hair. Okay, this ties into the Fighting Irish, the Jacobites, right? Maybe we'll get into that. But you see, Red Sonja is a barbarian warrior queen. Now this gets into, notice she riding the beast in the water, right? She devil with a sword, right? Remember in the Bible, what does it say? The Scarlet Woman, Scarlet Red, the Scarlet Woman come out the water riding the beast. Okay, remember in the new movie, Red Sonja, that had a Palladian in it. Okay, if y'all saw the movie, it had a Palladian in it, maybe to pull her up. But notice in the movie, she kind of got crowned as queen at the end of her bloodshed. We could do a whole movie on Red Sonja. But notice there was a Palladian in the movie. I can't spell them motherfuckers. Hold on. Let me see, I can't. Let me see, damn, so they won't show it, but in the movie, there was a Nordic or a Palladian. If y'all go back and watch the new movie that came out, there was a woman with white hair in there on the bad guys team. I ain't even gonna waste time trying to dig her up, but just know she was in the movie, right? Maybe see, we might can pull up. Let's see, who would the villain? Let's see if we can pull up the villain. Now you saw they had the Monkey Man. Forgot about the Monkey Man, the Wild Man, right? Y'all saw the movie. They had the Ape Man. There she go. The fierce warrior lady. She was a Polarian, Hyborian. Another thing this reminded me of was remember the game Heavenly Sword? Okay, she was your Red Sonja. Scandalously dressed, the Scarlet Queen. It's all about the weapon. Notice it's Heavenly Sword. It's all about the weapon with these folks. Okay, because of their destructive nature, the weapon is holy. The instrument of death is holy in this culture. Okay. Now, this redhead, associated with Irish, right, is like from the Jacobites. Okay. Now, the Jacobites, let's type in red hair. Okay. It says red hair and Jacobite rising share a deep cultural connection rooted in Scottish Highland. The Celtic genetic traits like red hair were naturally common. Okay. Scotland has one of the highest concentrations of redhead in the world that support the Jacobite cause. Okay, let's see if we can find some images. Okay, you see Scottish red hair. Okay. So now what's funny about the Jacobites is some lessons out there teach that there was black Jacobites, the black Jacobians, hidden black history before the slave trade. It's a which one of these two Europeans is very black complexion, the truth about the black nobility of Europe, the Jacobites. Okay, y'all see that right there? Now the Jacobites is like the hidden story of the black Jacobites. This ties into Yaqub. Okay, whence the black Irish of Jamaica, right? The Maroons. Okay, now you see how I say whence the black Irish of Jamaica. Okay, but you got the story of Yaqub. Created the white race through selective breeding on the island of Patmos, right? Arabic variant of the biblical patriarch Jacob. And we know what Yaqub looked like, the big head scientist. Okay, so I just thought that was an interesting connection. But as far as the Jamaicans, I'll show y'all the Maroons. The Jamaican Maroons are descendants of self-liberated Africans who escaped slavery under British and Spanish rule. They formed independent, autonomous communities deep within Jamaica's rugged mountains, utilizing expert guerrilla warfare to force the British to sign a historic peace treaty in 1730. The First Maroon War, the Second Maroon War. Okay, stand on business. Who descended from Africa, right? Let's get some images of the. Now notice the color maroon, right? Maroon is red. Okay. So this whole story is kind of like some interesting shit. Okay. I just thought that was interesting. And let's talk about. Who else reminds me of this is Hercules. Let's see how he turned into white. Okay, the intersection of Hercules, the classical mythical figure, and white supremacy involve how ancient Greco-Roman art and myths have historically been co-opted and whitewashed. Funny, we talk about the Jacobites and the red hair. Right, whitewashed or reevaluated in modern racial discourse. The myth of white antiquity, white nationalists, and pseudo-scientific movements have often looked at Roman Greco antiquity. Right, this is like Hercules and them. Let's see what else. Say actors famously portray Hercules, such as Kevin Sorbo, has faced widespread criticism and analysis from watchdogs like Southern Poverty Law Center for promoting far-right politics, anti-immigration. What are the odds? What are the chances? Right? Let me see if we got some images. Okay, damn, they coming with the naked Hercules. I ain't want naked Hercules. Okay. They ain't really giving us nothing. But let's just get some pics of Hercules. This is another, white male supremacy divinity thing. You see they got the red-haired Hercules. The Rock. Come on, Hercules keep getting naked. Okay, notice Zeus was blonde head, blue eyes. Come on, man, they gonna get me banned for all this naked Hercules bullshit. Okay, but Hercules a part of this white supremacy bullshit. Right, now this ties into like the God warrior complex. Right, with God of War. Let me see. Let me see. See, I'm trying to find, they in that Anglo-Saxon mythology, they got like god kings that become such through fighting, right? See, I'm gonna have to type in the right question to get the right answer, right? But it's kind of like Dante's Inferno, shit like that, where you can fight your way to the top. Okay. Let me see. We might can find something. They gonna give me too many armor of gods type shit, but I can't find something like I want to. We about to wrap this up, but again, this all ties also into the Neanderthal. Okay, now the Neanderthal is not Homo sapien, right? It's not human. Notice it adapted to cold climates like the Nordic, right? So they keep trying to find slick ways of saying, "No, I'm not human. I'm alien. I'm a master race. I'm from the Palladian star system in Hyboria. No, you're a Neanderthal. Don't try to flip it like you super, like you outer worldly. Yes, you outer worldly. Yes, you come from the gray skull cave, but it's the Neanderthal. Okay? The destructive nature of the Neanderthal, the primitive troglodyte nature of the Neanderthal. Does it make sense to you now? They just tried to flip it and sexify it up and put the strong blonde hair. No, this is red-haired Neanderthal, right? So let's see if we can find the Neanderthal with the red hair. So it says some DNA evidence showed that some Neanderthals had red hair, pale skin. Okay. Some of these elongated skulls had red hair too. Okay. Now when we talk about the barbarians, and we've done some videos on the barbarian. Think about the movie Barbarian, right? Where the lady was down in the basement, right? That's what she looked like, the barbarian. But that sounds a lot like Bavarian. Okay, Bavarian and barbarian sound similar but have etymologically unrelated. So it says barbarian comes from an ancient Greek onomatopic root for stammering foreign speech, while Bavarian derives from German Celtic tribal name meaning men of Bohemia. Okay? You see the barbar or the Berber, right? The Berber were like black people. Okay. Let's see if we got any images. So the barbarian is something that they've been using, right? This ain't notice the weapon. Okay, drunkenness, right? You see this? Notice the checkerboard patterns. Okay, notice the horns for the horn god, the satanic aspect. Colon, the barbarian, right? Y'all starting to see the connection here? See the red hair? Now, so they have a Bavarian royalty, House of Wisselbach, one of Europe's oldest and most powerful royal dynasties. Okay? So this shit ties into the Bavarian symbols. Okay? You got that goddamn checkerboard, you got them lions. But notice the double-headed black eagle is black nobility, right? So that's what made this so crazy. See, I'm trying to find. B-Dale did a video about the Bavarian roots, Queen Elizabeth's Bavarian roots to the black nobility. Damn, let me see if I can find it. Damn, hold on, I gotta type B-Dale. Damn, where's B-Dale shit at? He did a good breakdown on this. I don't know if y'all hip to B-Dale. You see motherfuckers trying to debunk it. Damn. Let me see if I can find that. Damn, they had no B-Dale, man. Well, y'all just gonna have to take my word for it. I wanted y'all to see it though. B-Dale 1014. Let's see if we can find it right quick. Okay. Oh Lord, they're gonna give me all kind of Illuminati pictures of B-Dale. This B-Dale though, but he did some good work on this shit. I want y'all to see it right quick. Alright, so there you go right there to the right, but he had how the Bavarians was a part of this shit. Damn. Well, if y'all go back and look at some of my black nobility videos, I used some of B-Dale's shit because his work was crazy. But I used some of B-Dale's shit to show that the Bavarians was in there. Now let's talk about the dwarfs and the red hair. right? We know we know in these fantasy games and all that, the dwarf always got the red hair, right? We've seen this 1,000 times in all kind of different movies, right? Now we're getting into leprechauns. We just did the movie on the pygmy, right? But this is an aspect of trying to make them magical, right? To try to say the dwarf, if you get it doing the history, you're gonna get into the pygmy and the original humans. Now what are dwarves known for, right? Making weapons. Okay, the dwarfs is known for making weapons. Right? They always got the hammer and the anvil. Right? So let me see. Okay, dwarves are legendary master smiths who turn raw metal and stone into fire. Legendary arms inside deep mountain forges. Okay, their weapon making culture blends practical might into deadly martial craft. Okay, but notice the dwarf, look at the dwarf banging on the motherfucking look at the motherfucking dwarf. Freemason shit. This is where that hammer and sickle shit come from. Are y'all following me? The Russia hammer and sickle. Notice the motherfucker got the hammer, he making the motherfucking weapon. Okay, this is what the dwarves do, they make weapons. So many movies we seen the dwarf with the hammer making weapons. Okay? Are y'all following me? Okay? Let me see, we might find some movie clips right quick before we go. Okay, let's see if we can find some movies with the dwarf. See, they giving me weapons. But look, man, y'all, but yeah, we just gonna get back, sum it up right quick there. These dudes is all tied into white supremacy, man. This is some of the core lore of white supremacy. He-Man, the Conan clone, right? Thor, Hercules. But you know, man, y'all let me know what you think in the comments, man. Like and subscribe. I'm out.